Hello, and welcome to this demo of UiPath Process Mining. This session will give you an overview of UiPath's process mining capabilities and showcase how the integrated UiPath automation platform empowers organizations to discover, automate, and monitor complex business processes. The demo focuses on the accounts payable process of a Fortune 500 organization. As is the case with organizations of all sizes, they have designed their ideal process, but reality is not what it seems. Today, we're going to look at 4 distinct personas who are all important stakeholders in the accounts payable process. We're going to start with Andrea, who is a process analyst, and with her manager, Helen, who is focused on optimizing the organization's key KPIs. We will then look at how Nicholas, the Center of Excellence lead, prioritizes the identified automations based on their impact. And we will end with how the organization's lead accountant, Sarah, supports her day-to-day work with the UiPath platform for automation. So let's start with Andrea, the process analyst. Andrea has already browsed through dozens of UiPath's pre-built connectors and has connected her organization's ERP system data with UiPath Process Mining. She can now continuously monitor how the accounts payable process is executed. As the year 2020 ends, Andrea needs to analyze all invoices in the last 3 quarters. By looking at what we call the happy path, she can identify the most common variant. After receiving an invoice, it is processed, it goes for a final check, it gets approved, and is then paid. However, less than half of all cases follow this ideal path. By adding more detail into the analysis, she quickly realizes how many different process variants exist. Furthermore, her manager, Helen, has set 2 KPIs as the top priority for her department: perfect invoices and paid on time rate. Currently, neither of those is within the desired range. When all variants for 2020 are included, perfect invoices is at 64% and paid on time rate is at 89%. However, when Andrea looks only at the cases that flow through the desired happy path, both KPIs are very strong, 95%. These differences have a potential impact of millions of dollars for the organization. To help Andrea further, Process Mining visualizes how the different cases flow through the process. This doesn't look ideal. While some cases are completed in a couple of days, there are others that take more than 176 days. Zooming into the last case, we can see all the individual tasks that were performed by the different users. This is how UiPath Process Mining captures all the repetitive details for all cases and identifies where automation could optimize the entire process. To do that, Andrea goes to the automation dashboard where she can see all the automation opportunities prioritized based on their impact. The 2 activities that have the largest potential impact are process invoice and final check of invoice. Given that the latter is a step that requires a human in the loop, Andrea prioritizes the opportunity of automating invoice processing, an activity that today is only 4% automated and would allow the organization to directly save more than $1 million by avoiding a lot of manual activities. This is an amount saved in 3 quarters alone. Imagine the impact it could have when implemented on an ongoing basis. Following this discovery, Andrea can directly submit this automation idea to Automation Hub. She can add any details she thinks are relevant for the organization's Center of Excellence to provide a full perspective of how the proposed automation can impact the purchase-to-pay process. Now, let's transition to Nicholas, the Automation Center of Excellence lead. Nicholas has a long list of proposed automations that are sourced from different parts of the UiPath platform: task capture, employee crowdsourced ideas, task mining, and of course, process mining. He can now prioritize all the automations that the organization has identified based on their impact. Out of those automations, one in particular stands out: the automation idea that Andrea submitted after her analysis with process mining. Close to $1 million of savings from automating 16,000 plus cases is a very strong opportunity. He checks all the process mining data that was submitted and immediately approves the proposed automation. It's now headed to UiPath Studio for development. Let's move to the future and see how the accounts payable process is performing in 2021. Andrea and her manager, Helen, are excited. By simply leveraging the UiPath automation platform, they were able to increase the automation rate of the process invoice activity from 4% to 71%, which has had a very positive effect on their KPIs. Perfect invoices went from 64% to 91%, and the paid on time rate is now close to 98% for all cases. But process mining doesn't stop here. New bottlenecks are discovered downstream. Now the accounting department can efficiently handle more invoices faster. This leads to a continuous improvement cycle, which is what we call the automation flywheel. In this case, Andrea notices in the data that some of the paid on time rates underperformance is caused by several invoices that are paid only 1 or 2 days late. If only Sarah, the head accountant, could be alerted when an invoice is due, the whole process would be a lot smoother. Andrea has created a business rule in Process Mining which automatically sends notifications to UiPath Action Center once a payment is almost due. Every time an invoice needs to get paid in less than 3 days, Sarah will receive a notification in her Action Center inbox, and she will be able to approve, postpone, or forward it. However, sometimes she also wants to manually add actions. In this example, Sarah notices that she has 1 late payment and 2 that are still on time. But because of a company offsite planned for the next day, she wants to make sure that these don't slip her team's attention. With a single click of a button, she sends all cases to UiPath Action Center where they can be handled. She now has her full list of actions in her inbox, and she can choose how to manage each invoice accordingly. Andrea, Helen, Nicholas, and Sarah are all very happy. The organization's accounts payable process has vastly improved since they leveraged process mining and the UiPath automation platform to optimize their outcomes and KPIs. Plus, they have saved the organization hundreds of thousands of dollars in doing so. Thank you for watching this demo. For more information, please visit uipath.com/processmining.